Is there some feature that you would like to see on there?
Yeah, we put together a really lovely blooper reel with Dan, Rupert, Emma, Matthew, everybody in fact. We were going to aim to put it on this DVD, but we kind of didn't end up on there unfortunately. But it will come out, I guess, on the next iteration of DVDs. And there's some really smashing stuff on there. I mean, from like 6.5 years of these guys just cracking up, doing scenes, and there's some really sweet stuff.
Would you ever consider doing a commentary for all the films that you've directed?
Oh, of course, yeah. At some point, I'm sure that'll happen as we come out. I was so busy making the movies that getting in the theatre to sort of talk through it was really tricky. I was just making the movies constantly for about 6.5 years. Yeah, basically what would happen is Steve, the writer, or Michael Goldenberg, who did the 5th film, would do the first draft of the screenplay. Then I'd work on it with the Davids, David Heyman and David Baird. We'd sit around the table, usually for weeks or a couple of months, and we'd work on the draft. And we'd go through about 3, 4, 5, 6 versions of a script through that period, and then we'd send it to Joe. There'd be a point where we'd go, we've got to show Joe. That was a very important sort of affirmation that we would need, and the script would go off to Joe rolling. And on the whole, certainly on the 4 films I made, Joe was always really brilliant, very supportive. She'd have 2 or 3 very important points to make, but generally she was always encouraging and really supportive this week.
When you shut down the set, you said the last take, that's it. What were your feelings at that moment?
Mixture, obviously. I mean, I felt very sad. It was we'd been anticipating that day for a very long time. You know, we discussed it, we talked about it. I think everybody was slightly worried about it because we knew it would be emotional, and it was emotional. But also, it was just a sense of relief, you know, to sort of get to that point and to finish, you know, to know that 4 movies were behind us, at least in the can. So a mixture of sadness and relief.
I think I'd like to see an interview between Steve Clovis, the screenwriter, and Joe Rowling.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that would give great insight into the adaptation process, and these are 2 people who I admire and care for an awful lot.
You recently produced Page 8, which featured a great deal, or a great number of cast members. What was that experience like? Working with them in that kind of environment, or outside Potter?
They're great actors, but what's great about those actors is, you know, that Ray Fiennes, who's truly a star, or Bill Nighy would come in and be on a small, low-budget TV film, which is what it was. You know, bespeaks. You know, it's all about the material. David Hare wrote a great script. They wanted to be in it, but it was great to work with them and, you know, to see them again, to be reunited. And it's easy, you know, this ease of communication when you work together with people for as long as we have.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How does the Wizarding World compare to being on the actual set of Hogwarts?
It's really close to the real thing. I mean, you know, I saw it 2 days ago for the first time, and it feels as if I'm on set.
Oh yeah.
Although, you know, I went on ride, obviously, and it's quite a bit more fun.
Sure. You got to work with a lot of pretty cool and legendary actors. Is there anyone who you didn't have a scene with that you would like to work with on the film?
Well, I got to know everyone, but I would have loved to work a little more with Ray Fiennes and all the Voldemort stuff, and probably with Snape.
I gotcha.
And, Alan Rickman.
Oh yes.
Although, you know, everyone is really beautiful and you know, everyone is fantastic, so I really enjoyed myself then.
What was it like for you guys to come in here, see yourselves in the game and whatnot, having the game, the ride?
The ride and everything, yeah. We saw it last year, but we shot it about 2 years before we saw it, so we kind of forgot what we'd done for it. But, you know, the guys here at Universal really have outdone themselves, and just with the construction, the guys who designed it, you know, Steve and everyone who designed it, Stuart, it's just so good. And we've met people who have never been Harry Potter fans but have come here, seen this place, then seen the movies and become fans. So it's really weird how it works it kind of works in reverse for those guys.
Which movie was it that you guys filmed these sections?
It was the 6th movie actually, because I can remember filming it, we were like, right, okay, we'll put our school uniform on. We hadn't worn the school uniforms for a while, so it was quite cool to do that.
Well, in Deathly Hallows Part 2, we did get to see the Malfoy's exit, which is different from the book. What was your first inspiration for that, and how did it all come
Well,
to
you know, we were about to shoot the battle scene, and David kept saying, what are we going to do with the Malfoys at the end? What should we do? Because we knew already the end of the film is different from the end of the book because of the way it was playing out. And so we came up with a different scenario. Every day when we were in the courtyard, I'd go up and go, how about this? How about he gets killed by this? Or how about you find him cowering behind the curtain? He knew that he wanted Narcissa and Draco to run off. But he was like, what are we going to do? Should I go into the battle? Should I stay out of the battle? Should I hide? Should I? And in the end, we came up with this thing that as I led the charge, hoping that Voldemort was watching that I was leading the charge, I would see my wife was leaving, be torn, try and turn around and be trampled by all the other Death Eaters.
Oh, wow.
And be left in the courtyard, and we shot that. And then, not knowing whether I could hear battle from inside, because my wife was gone, and run after my wife. And in the end, I suspect in the edit, they put that together and thought, well, we can't stop the momentum to see Lucius on the floor in the courtyard, and so you just see me on the bridge. But in my mind, that entire journey takes place where I get trampled by. So we shot, all the feet going on my head and people trampling me, leaving me in the courtyard, and then me standing up and making the decision and running after.
Oh, wow. Did you enjoy playing the fall of Lucius?
I loved the fact that he had a big arc. A lot of the other magnificent adult actors got to play pretty much the same colour all the way through. Obviously not Alan and Snape, who had that amazing journey, but for me, to go from such a supremely enabled, entitled, supremacist pig to someone who was crushed and emasculated, castrated in many ways, alcoholic and all kind of unshaven, red-eyed, it was gorgeous.
He actually became a little sympathetic.
Well, you understand, he was such a bully and such a racist, like all those people are, through fear, because he was a coward, and because he was scared of his place in the world.
Yeah.
All 8 films are out, and Evanna has had a whole story. How do you feel Evanna compared from book to the film?
I think, I was really, really lucky that I got as much screen time as I did, and I think we brought out, a lot of the really important qualities of the. I think they stressed, the Harry Luna connection. David Yates was always he liked, what me and Dan were doing. That Luna's she's sort of a confidant for him, and she really helps him deal with things like death and deals with celebrity and the harsh criticism he gets and everything. So I'm really pleased with what we've done. There are things like I shed a tear when the Quidditch commentary was cut out. But hopefully I'll sometime come to a Quidditch World Cup and do that. There was talks of that. I'd love to do that.
Definitely. You were part of a really great team of women in the film as characters and actresses. How has that changed and affected you playing Luna, who has become such a icon for so many young girls out there?
It's a privilege, and it's also very daunting because she's someone who inspired me so much, someone who I really thought was perfect in just every way, in her outlook on life, and just to play her was sort of an immense pressure, but also a privilege, and it was exciting for me. It was like I want to do the best, not for the fans, but for me, because I would be so disappointed if someone else had messed with her character and not done her justice. And it's weird when people say, when they thank me for Luna, because I had nothing to do with her creation, but it also it's a huge compliment because I want to to give her a good. It's sometimes it's better. It helps people more when there's a physical representation. So if I can be that, and if I can help people get her, then that's the most amazing feeling ever.
You are able to connect with so many fans via Twitter. Did you ever expect to have that kind of interaction with hundreds of thousands, millions of Harry Potter fans?
It freaks me out every morning. When you wake up in the morning and everything seems normal, and then you think something like, I might tweet, and you're like, it's so weird that all these hundreds of thousands of people are listening to the nonsense I say, and I just talk about nonsense. So it is quite scary, but it's also amazing. I've met people through it. I met just some friends through it. I've made friendships over Twitter, and I think Twitter is an awesome device, and I love talking to my fans. And it also has made me realize what a responsibility I have, that so many people love Luna, and it's exciting to think that maybe there's more things I can do with her character and her positivity and send that into the world.
We are in the Wizarding World tonight. Is there something, or a ride, or an attraction that you would love to see?
Yes. I would add a Lovegood ride. It would be the way Luna talks about all the creatures all the time, and everyone just kind of scoffs at them in the book. Everyone laughs at them. I would have like all of the creatures come alive, and you're kind of, some of them you're sitting in, and they like sort of like teacup slash roller coaster ride where they spin and they also loop the loop, and there'll be music and there'll be all that strobe light, so it'll be like Luna's brain has come alive, and you know the way everyone's like, oh, it's not real. You'll go on this ride and you'll be like, oh, she was right. Oh, these things exist. So I should hope after, I've been plugging this ride a few times, so I hope it's in the works now. Yeah. Can I also just say hi? I love you, Leaky.
Oh, hi.
LeakyCon 2012. Woo!
Ooh, Chicago.
Chicago.
Okay.